Hi, good afternoon. Hi, welcome everyone to the St. George's webinar about St. George, your pathways to becoming a doctor in the US, UK, and possibly Canada as well, and as well as 50 other places around the world where you can practice medicine with us. Now, what I'm going to do throughout the presentation, I'm going to go through a few slides, have a sort of a bit of information I'll give to you for that, or even during, if questions come up, pop them on the chat. You know, I'd rather everyone's able to understand things as we go. And then afterwards, we'll have a question and answer session and work out plans. So I'm going to jump on and try with one thing. There is a video in the middle of the presentation. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, again, shout up because I have had problems with it before. Okay, so I'm just going to pop on the screen sharing side here. Okay, great. Now, can everyone see that? Hopefully. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Okay, great. So yeah, as I mentioned at the get-go, I'm going to talk about your opportunities in your future to becoming a doctor. You know, some very exciting profession to consider, given particularly the current circumstances. I think, you know, that means the world has now recognised slightly more that there is a shortage of doctors in the world, and it takes hardworking students like yourself to be able to push forward and do these things. So here we go. This is our main campus in the West Indies. Now, we do have two sites, and I'll introduce both of these to you as we go along. But this is our main campus in Grenada. Now, I mean, I just find this stunning. I still do. It's an incredible facility. We've actually invested $500 million into the facility. So everything you would experience as a student is the same as you would experience as a doctor. I'll give you a sort of slight tour here. This is where your accommodation is, your halls of residence, and these are the teaching areas in here. So you've got no reason to be late from lectures. You literally have to get out the doorway here and into here for your lectures. So these are all good things. We've also got a research facility up here as well. So for those people that are looking to practice medicine slightly differently, or looking at things like epidemiology, so the study of viruses, and yeah, that's obviously quite a topical subject at the moment. This is where you do these things. Also, I don't know if you guys can make out just at the back here, this is actually the airport. So you travel to Grenada isn't so difficult. You literally get off the plane, on a bus, and you're on the site. As well as, obviously, beautiful beach, scuba schools, lots of different things that I'll talk to you about later in the presentation. Now, this is how successful we are. We are absolutely one of the #1 medical schools in the world, particularly if you're looking at, you know, studying and getting your degree and practicing in the US. I'm going to show you some statistics that might actually blow your mind a bit. So as a US residency, so I mentioned then that we are offering pathways into the US, UK, Canada, and other pathways around the world. This is how many of our students, so 91% of our students obtained a place after graduation as an international student. Now, you probably would have heard that, you know, US medical schools, getting into work in the US, UK is very, very difficult. We've been doing this for 44 years now. So we've got a lot of experience, a big team that are able to help support you and place you into becoming a doctor. So it really is an actual genuine pathway into becoming a licensed doctor. So much so that last year we placed 961 doctors into the US. Now, if you think that's high, this year we've already placed 1,085, and there's more coming in each week. I think actually I probably should have updated these slides that as of yesterday, there was 1,100 doctors been placed by us in the US last year. There's a statistic flying around that actually, I think 1 in 100 doctors in the US are a St. George's graduate on average. So you guys, you'd honestly be having a genuine career pathway, an option to moving forward. And there we go, as if the numbers didn't say enough already. So, you know, no one else in the world does it the way that we do. So, yeah, it's an incredible thing and an incredible opportunity for you guys to join us on your journey. Now, to see the second largest one, this was as of last year's figures. We were actually established that with the addition of the 1,100 students, we're now actually the #1 provider in the US workforce. So we've gone up the league table this year. And hence why these statistics are also slightly outdated. So we'll skip past that. Now, how do we do it? Excuse me. We offer quite a unique style of teaching. We are able to we do what's called the integrated learning system, which is slightly different from a lot of institutions. So you're looking at classroom sizes of 8 students to 1 professor, 4 students to 1 cadaver. So you're having a very sort of practical way of learning. So it's not just theory, lots of reading books and then doing practicals further down the line. It's integrated throughout your study. So this is something we do and have done for the last 40 odd years. Now, these guys, the Office of Career Guidance and Student Development, will help you towards your strategy and how you're looking at placing your residency. So from day one, from the moment you join us, you'll be introduced to this team. Now, their aim is to ensure that you get through to residency and you get to your clinical placements and the clinical placements that are perfect for you. There's over 300 members of staff in this team. So you will get, again, a very personalized strategy and education. Excuse me. So the clinical network, as I say, we've been operating for a number of years. So we actually operate with over 75 different hospitals in the US, 25 in the UK, and 5 hospital chains in Canada. So this network will allow you to enter any of these states in the US. So you've got New York, Ohio, you've got Illinois there, so Chicago, Florida, California. All these different places are available to you. And we have a hospital brochure that covers those. And we are working with the top hospitals in the US, places like the Mayo Clinic and some of the top ranked hospitals in the US. And again, we've got placements in the UK. They're mostly around this part of the UK, which is where London is. So that's an option. And in Canada, we've got East and West Coast as well. The US MLE. Now, I'm not sure, has everyone heard of the US MLE? This is a particular test, so the US medical licensee exam. So what this test allows you is to practice medicine as an MD. Now, we're smashing it when it comes to this. 96% of our students pass the US MLE first time. So any of the tests or assessments that you do throughout your time with us will prepare you for this test. So we want to make sure, again, that pathway, that career is there for you to progress to. Also, for those 4% that don't pass it the first time, we will also make provision for you to pass it the second time as well. So we want you out there. We want you there practicing medicine and showing off all the skills that you've learned throughout the years. Now, the next slide is the video. I mentioned at the beginning that hopefully this will work perfectly. If it doesn't, if it's a bit sticky, let me know, and also we can share that with it afterwards.
SGU has done so much to help me prepare. From the very beginning, they always try to keep in mind what's our end goal.
I've really helped propel me towards my lifelong dream of becoming a doctor.
I'm very confident that I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have gotten residency at Mayo Clinic if I had gone to any school other than St. George's. SGU was the best investment I've made in my entire life. Absolutely.
SGU has an outstanding network of over 16,000 School of Medicine graduates who practice in all 50 United States as well as 50 countries around the world. That's truly remarkable.
We've been in existence for over 40 years, so we've trained a whole lot of doctors. And probably one of the most unique advantages of coming to St. George's is the amount of support that we give to our students. We attempt to make every student that we accept to the med school be successful. We can offer a wide variety of education degree, which means the vast majority of students that want to be a physician are going to become physicians.
Studying here is quite demanding, but I believe that the school is here to help us, supporting all the students and their families, and that is a big thing.
On campus, an SGU lifestyle, I think, is similar to a school in the States, except you have this beautiful environment where you're really focused on becoming a doctor.
This is a comprehensive campus. We have 65 buildings. We actually run our own bus service. We have our new exercise facility, restaurants, and our brand new dorm is spectacular. We really cater to the unique needs of all of our students and create an incredibly safe and supportive environment.
The school really tries to help you make sure that you know what you're doing, and it's just really nice to have such a big community.
The key to medical education is the learning group size, because that's the environment where you're learning medicine. And most of our curriculum is taught in small groups of 8.
One of the things we do here is we've set up DES, the Department of Educational Services, where our students learn how to learn.
We really focus on the individual. It's really student-centered education.
We work with students in workshops. We work with students in small groups. We also do provide one-on-one support for students who are developing their English language.
They provide practice tests, educational material, all of that. And so when I took step one, for me, it felt like taking another St. George's test.
We're often judged by the success of our students in USMLE exams. And in fact, we are virtually identical to a USMLE in our success rate. But in addition to standardized tests, I think we are particularly good at preparing students to be lifelong learners long into their careers.
The first 2 years in Grenada really prepared me well to succeed here in clinical rotations.
And I do believe that these clinical rotations are probably the most important aspect in trying to narrow down what you want to do for residency.
St. George's allowed me to do multiple rotations, to repeat rotations that I was interested in, and were incredibly encouraging.
We have relationships with over 70 hospitals. It's really an opportunity for our students to think about, where do I want to train to get the residency that you're looking for?
I'm a second-year resident, and I know this is a privilege. It's a path that not everyone gets to walk, and SGU is really the stepping stone that enabled me to be here.
If you look at the average residency placement, all those numbers are on par, if not better than the US averages, and that's a testament to St. George's.
I'm a big believer in diversity, and all one needs to do is come on the campuses and walk, and you look around you and you see diversity.
I've met so many great people from so many different countries, and they all have different experiences from their country.
You learn about their backgrounds, their customs, their cultures, and having that exposure is crucial, in terms of being able to take care of people down the road.
Our students have the opportunity to train all over the world. We have actually been working in partnership with Northumbria University in Newcastle, England. And one of the things that we can now offer to students is to spend the first year of your medical curriculum in Newcastle.
It gives you a perfect combination of doing 1 year of school in England and 1 year of school in Grenada, and then your clinical rotations in North America, or to come back to the UK.
That type of international medical education is not only extremely valuable, but is quite unique.
Being a doctor in the 21st century, I think not only means being able to take care of patients, but also making sure that you continue to better yourself as a doctor. That's a really key point here, is that St. George's does a phenomenal job at getting you ready for your career.
I don't think that I would have been able to get the experience that I've gotten here at SGU anywhere else.
As soon as they drape the white coat over you, you kind of have that sense that this is the beginning of the journey.
My parents feel pretty happy about this because I'm doing something which is beneficial for mankind.
If you put in the work, doors will fly open for you. And I'm just very, very fortunate and thankful for that opportunity.
Great stuff. Well, I hope that worked for everyone. I'm just going to skip ahead to the next slide and tell you a bit more about. So I mentioned at the get-go that we have our two sites. So we have our Grenada site, which I showed you the picture of, and we also have our campus in Newcastle. So this is this helps for those of you that may be looking towards the being qualified and practicing in the UK. So we do have two options here, hence why we're able to offer pathways. And this is how it's structured. Now, depending upon your highest qualification, if you've actually already got a degree, a medical degree, then you can actually enter directly into our 4-year MD program. Now, bear in mind, this isn't possible for those that already have an MBBS. So that's something, if we are students on the line on that we can just address once we've finished the presentation side of things. Now, this is more likely where a lot of our students are coming in. So you finished your high school, you've completed the right grades, normally on average over 80%, and you've got an English language test, then you'll be able to enter here. To give you sort of an equivalent example, students who are taking the IB, if you get a grade of 32 or more, you can start here in what will be the year 3 of preclinical, which is the 5-year MD program. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of study. You will, no matter what school system you've taken, you'll be required to take a English language test. IELTS is the most common frame as a reference. So your IELTS would be level 7 with no less than 6.5 in writing. Now, once you've begun your study here, so we'll take the 5-year program for an example. You are then able to, you could choose to spend 2 years in the UK, 1 year in Grenada, and then return to the UK, or you can do 2 years in the UK, Grenada, then the US. So here you have to spend 1 year studying them in Grenada to complete the US MLE. The reason being because we're a US licensed medical school, and that's where we have to operate as a test center. You'll also notice here, so after you've completed year 2 of your MD program and you've fulfilled all the criteria, you will actually be eligible to be awarded a Bachelor of Medical Science. Now, that is equivalent to MBBS, so it's a bachelor level qualification. So you'll get a bachelor and a master's throughout your program. So you'll have everything that you need to, again, to be practicing as a doctor. Now, these 2 years, once you pass your US MLE here, then this is where you'll do your clinical rotations that they spoke about in the video. So these will be with our partner hospitals in any of these 3 countries. Here you'll be able to do different practices, different specializations. So, dermatology, epidemiology, surgery, whatever it is that you've found over this period that you're wanting, you've got the most drive and passion for, but also what you've got the most aptitude for as well. So you've got to balance out that desire in your grades to be able to do these rotations. However, we often find that those students with the passion, they make the grades. So if you've got something in mind, a career path and a specialization in mind, that's where we'll come into. So here, after the year 4, you'll take your USMLE step 2, which is your advancement into practice and the work environment. So you'll leave after here as a qualified, specialized doctor. And this is how the MD Pro pathway works. Similar to what you've just seen. However, this is worth noting. So we have optional selectives. So during your breaks, so your summer months, which are normally about 2 to 3 months in between, you're actually allowed, we will encourage you actually to come and spend time in Kenya, the Czech Republic, Thailand, Sweden, or India, doing basically similar to things that like Doctors Without Borders. So you'll be there practicing your skills in a different country, supported by SGU and SGU staff as well. So it's really is quite an integrated and international program. So life, as well as studying at SGU, you guys are all probably even more aware than I am about what's required to study to become a doctor. But you've also got to have things what life will be like as well. So you've got to be in somewhere where you're comfortable and happy. I mean, we offer an extremely high level of amenities, accommodation. So here we have our own travel around campus that's part of our services. This is an example of one of the shared spaces in our dorms. Each student, you all have your own room, so there's no sort of shared rooms or anything like that. So you still get your privacy, which is important to a lot of people. You also have our catering facilities, our gym, and here I think we've got another picture to show you what this space is like when it's being used. Now, aside from those sort of facilities, we'd like to, we want to encourage you to have, a really great experience with us. So we've got clubs, organizations, there's sports clubs, social clubs, all sorts of things. So you can, if there's something that maybe you've wanted to try and not had the opportunity to, chances are you'll be able to do it with us as well. Even if you can get a group of like-minded people to join you, brilliant. Off you go and jump in. I mean, I know there's sports teams. I think there's a cricket team, football teams, netball, all sorts of things. So, those of you that sports, you can join those. There's international societies, all sorts of things. So you can really, embrace other cultures as well. And speaking of the sporting side of things and the arts side, there you go. That's the room I was saying. So this is your daytime yoga and this is your sunset yoga. I mean, that just looks stunning to me. So this is some people using the gym. Now here, this is our scuba school. The beginning of that. So where I showed you the beach on the second slide, there was a little jetty. Then this is where you can actually learn dive with us. There's actually a barrier reef to examine and everything. It's absolutely amazing. Here, again, we've got all different types of societies and things you can do in your downtime because you need it. I think, you study hard as a doctor. You need that downtime just to take time, breathe, relax, and let everything sink in. So the application stage. Now, I'm sure by now you've all examined lots of different applications, but I'm going to go through ours. We have an online application form, and also so that there you'll be able to apply for the year, the campus, what is the appropriate level of study for you, and submit your scores. Now we work in partnership here, so you can also access to me now we've met, and I'll be able to help you with those. And we'll be able to move things forward. Now, once you've done all this, you'll be asked to complete an interview. Now, the interview, some people find them quite a scary prospect. Now, the interview is actually more about your desire to be a doctor rather than necessarily any technical knowledge or anything along those side of things. So it's more to do with, what's driving you, what's pushing you towards this career path. And will be based predominantly around your personal statement, which is completed here as part of the application process. Now, once you've completed your interview, you will then receive your admissions decision, pay your deposit, which is $5,500, and then you'll start your travel. Now, it's interesting. Obviously, we've got to be aware that at the moment we are in the pandemic, so we've guaranteed our fall start in August and September. And predominantly, they're going to be online studies. That's something to be aware of for this semester. Those of you that are looking for this autumn, this fall. So we're ensuring that people are safe to travel. We're prepared for our campus, for some students to be on campus. We are putting in tests, etc., and making sure that it's safe to do so. Normally, and if you're looking for, say, 2021 to begin next August, we'll also offer the chance for you to travel. We'll pay for you and a guardian or a parent to come and join us in Newcastle or into Grenada to have a look around. Come and see the campus, meet the team, and do things like that. We also, and to think about this, we also have a January start for our programs and an April start for our MD4. And then stay 7. Off you go, the white coat goes over your shoulders and you're studying to become a doctor. Brilliant. So these are my contact details. There we go. These are my contact details on the right. Normally I'm based in the Emirates in Dubai. However, at the moment, I'm over in the UK due to lockdown. But these are my details. I'm happy to help with any questions, etc. So yeah, so that's the end of the slideshow. I'm going to pop that there and jump onto the chat side of things. So I've heard things popping along as we go along. Oh, my video's frozen there as well. So let's have a look here. Okay. So does anyone have any questions from the presentation?
So we received some questions, but they are in Turkish. So I will translate for you.
Yeah, great. I've seen how frozen my face is on that video. I'm going to see if I can make that change a little bit.
Don't worry about it. I will read the questions for you.
Okay, great stuff.
Okay, so the first question asks, what are the prices for the medical school?
Okay, so the prices are based on our preclinical and our MD years. So depending upon where you're going to start your degree, so on your high school qualification, the preclinical, so those that are in blue on the presentation, are $37,000 per year. Then the MD program on average is $67,000 a year. Now, we're also offering, and I presume there might be a question in there about scholarships. We do offer a range of scholarships between $60,000 and $120,000. So you are, most of our students are eligible for a scholarship. So your average cost of your program then becomes $27,000 for the preclinical and roughly about $47,000 per year for the MD. Is that helpful?
I suppose that is helpful. Thank you so much. One more question. Do you accept IELTS score as 7?
Yes, 7 is actually our benchmark, as long as it's not below 6.5 in writing. Also, if it is below 6.5 in writing, we do have pre-sessional programs, English programs you can do before you arrive. So we've launched an online pre-sessional English program as well. So we will support you with that. We also have in-sessional English support. So during your study with us, I mentioned the Department of Educational Services. You have one-on-one tuition. If there's some of the technical language that you're struggling with, anything like that, we'll put that support in place as well.
Great. The next question is, can we work in the UK after graduation?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. This is something that we pride ourselves on, really. So we will support you with your visa application as well. So if you're tier 2 visa application, our qualification is recognized in 50 different countries around the world. So that's where we currently have people studying. We've actually got World Federation accreditation. So yeah, you study in the UK. What we're finding quite a lot of the time is that our students, when they do their clinical practices in the UK, they then actually will find themselves working for the same hospital. There's such a shortage of doctors, and they've gotten to know you over your rotations that's often the case that you can study and then work here in the UK.
Great. And then the question goes, any health insurance you provide for your students in the scope of COVID?
Yeah, definitely. We're all very conscious of COVID. So you can get personal insurance. We also have medical insurance available to you, which also is quite useful later in your study to take out medical indemnity insurance, which means that when you're practicing medicine, you're also covered in that respect. The other insurances that we've put in place is that for those students that will potentially be coming on campus, we'll ensure social distancing, that masks, etc., PPE is available. We've also got our online start. We've invested heavily actually in our online start. We had a meeting about it this morning. So our online learning is going to be live in the laboratory lectures. So it's going to be exactly as it would be as if you're in the class. So you'll be engaged with it at all times. It's not just a case of watching a video and answering questions and that sort of thing. So, if you're not feeling comfortable or happy traveling, given the health situation that we find ourselves in, then these are the way forward for you.
All right. And then goes, can you talk about social clubs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's something I like to talk about. What would you like to know? I think that's the thing. Is there a particular interest that this person has, or would like to start your own? There's some things, students can start their own clubs and societies. So that's an option. In my old university, actually, they actually started a Quidditch team. So they learned the way that actually there's now a Quidditch league in the UK. So if anyone's got a love of all things Harry Potter, you could go and start a Quidditch society. But yeah, there's loads of things available to you. I think we have maybe 40 or more different sports teams, societies. If you're already someone who's performing at a good level, so you've already got a sport you do, then we've got provision for that. We've got swimming, obviously, all these things. Lots of different provision there.
Quidditch sounds fun.
I have actually watched the match and it confused me no end, I have to say. I studied sport at university and it still confused me. Lots of people running around with broomsticks. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I bet it's great fun to play though, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is, can Turkish people get visa easily for studying?
Yeah, we've had no problems with the visas actually. So a good point actually to raise, and that's an excellent question, is that there is a requirement for a visa in the UK. So you have your Tier 4 visa in the UK. The process that we would go through is that once you're accepted and you've paid your deposit, we will give you the confirmed acceptance of studies, which is known as the CAS. Once you've got that, that's roughly about 80% of your visa application. Then the additional 20% is just providing the final details and having that interview. We find particularly those of you guys that are here to study medicine, you're not going to struggle with the interviews. It's your English levels are already there. We've done everything in the space beforehand, and we've not had any visa rejections from Turkey or further afield in the Middle Eastern region. The second thing is, if you're looking to go directly to our Grenada campus, you don't need a visa at all. You can simply arrive at the airport with your acceptance, and they'll point you towards the St. George's buses, basically. We are an integral part of the island in Grenada, so yeah, you could be able to just do that straight off.
So, then the next question is actually two questions are probably connected. Will our medical license be valid only in the US and the UK or all over the world? And the second question goes, can we be medical doctors also in Turkey?
The answer is yes to everything, which is crazy. We've already got alumni working as doctors in Turkey. So yeah, that's definitely 100% on that. And actually, as part of your interview, you'll be speaking with an alumni from Turkey as well. So yeah, we're recognised all around the world. As I mentioned, we have the accreditation, the World Federation accreditation. And yes, once you're qualified as an MD, a medical doctor, you can practice anywhere around the world. Certain countries, you may have to do a transition test. So I think Singapore particularly has quite a strict system where, you have to do an exam to prove, that you have the medical knowledge. And that's true of anyone that's not basically graduated within their country. So yeah, we have students, I say, at the moment in over 50 different countries around the world. And that's growing year on year as well.
That sounds great. Then people can actually study in the UK and then go back to Turkey to be doctors.
Exactly. They can get the best of both worlds.
Sounds great. Okay, the next question is, can we work part-time while studying?
This is the difficult thing. Yes, in the UK you can. However, as you can imagine, while studying to be a doctor, you don't have a lot of free time. It is a very intense way to study. In Grenada, it isn't possible. We have an agreement with the local government that students who come to study in Grenada are there to study due to the provision of employment opportunities on the island. In the UK, it's normally on a Tier 4 visa. You can do part-time work up to 20 hours a week. But again, I wouldn't use it necessarily. I mean, there's going to be periods like over maybe the summer break, and you can actually do 40 hours a week. It depends on how you want to structure things. But whilst you're studying, it is an intense way of studying. You need to be switched on. So it's whether you wanted to do things like evening work and stuff like that. That depends on how you manage time. And around exams, halas, I mean, I wouldn't look to do any work. There's an awful lot to focus on.
So I know that you explained already about the prices, but we received another question about the prices. So can you just give a general number? How much would it cost to study per year?
Well, let's say if we take the 5-year program for an example, the cost of the 5-year program without a scholarship is roughly about $350,000. With a scholarship, I say it's normally, on average, our students are receiving $80,000 to $100,000 in scholarship from Turkey. So you're looking about $250,000 for the 5 years. Now that's obviously not paid up front. We can put in payment plans and we can do work around that. And we have some flexibility in the scholarship offer as well for those students that may require a little more as well.
Great, thank you so much. Another question is, do they accept different exams for applying, such as SAT?
Yep, yeah, we've mapped against pretty much every education system in the world. So we can accept the SATs. I think really if you're looking at if you're going through the American qualifications, I take the APs. The advanced placements are better suited. You want to specialize in biology and chemistry. They will be the foundation for your medical studies all the way through your career. So that's one of the things. A-levels, CBSE, every system, local high school systems, we've mapped everything possible into our programs.
Awesome. So basically, I think we ran out of questions. Let me just quickly check if there is anything else.
Yeah. The more the merrier. I love a good question.
Great. Meanwhile, you can talk about the accommodation options if you want to.
Yeah. The accommodation is quite interesting, really. So what we find predominantly is that in the first year, our students will join us in our student housing, whether that's in Newcastle, in the UK, or in Grenada. Then the second year study, more often than not, students will find friends, people they know and like, and then share a house. That does help with the cost of living because the cost of living is roughly in the UK, in Newcastle, about 700 British pounds per month. And in Grenada, on average, it's about $1,000 per month. So sharing accommodation helps share the bills. It helps share food. Some people, if everyone can cook, this is one thing, as well as learning biology and chemistry, learn how to cook. I always find that in the first couple of weeks of term, loads of pizza boxes and things like that stacked up outside people's houses. Then they realize that's actually a really expensive way to live. So then, having the ability to cook, great. I mean, in both places, there's markets. You can get, all sorts of different food provisions and things like that as well.
Okay, that sounds like a good option to accommodate.
Yeah, definitely. Because cooking leads to eating. That's probably what I'm always thinking about.
Yes, otherwise it's really expensive to eat outside every day.
It is, yeah. I mean, if the price of, say, the UK, if you're looking at maybe a Domino's or a takeaway pizza, maybe that's £20 a pizza. So, yeah, it is quite expensive takeaway food. You obviously got local restaurants that are quite good. You know, there's lots of provision for halal food and things as well. So yeah, there are lots of options, but I'd always say to someone, if you're looking to save money, cook at home.
Okay, then I think this is our last question. There is this person who has the American green card, and he's wanting any kind of discount for the school fee.
There's no discount, but it might be worth them examining if they've got access to the US federal loan, because there's a thing called the Title IV US federal loan. Now, predominantly it's open to US citizens, but it may be worth investigating that they could do that through the US system. So it would be a loan for funding and what they call cost of attendance, which is your living costs. So that would be covered within that loan. So that might be something worth examining. But yes, now unfortunately there aren't any discounts for citizenships or anything like that.
Okay. So we basically are out of questions. Anything else you want to add? We have still 4 minutes to go.
It could be anything. Could be about the weather. It could be absolutely brilliant.
Sure. Anything you want to add?
Yeah. Let me think. If you're looking at the UK, bring a big coat. Sometimes when it gets to winter time, it does get quite cold. Trying to think if there's anything else to really add. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. But you know, questions also, they always come across sort of after these things. So you know, I'm here to help you guys, basically.
We can talk about the you know, culture shock or depression because of away from the family, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, what we do, we have our within our Department for Educational Services, we obviously have pastoral care there as well. So even pre-arrival, we will introduce you to your classmates. So you've got the chance to speak with people prior to sort of landing in so the UK or in Grenada, in a different country. We'll also, you know, the transition isn't always an easy one for everyone. So things like homesickness, these things happen. That's why we've got an open door policy. Come and speak to our guys. There's lots of different provision, as well as the Department of Educational Services. There are student unions. We want to ensure there's a lot of support for people there, you know, and whether that means just facilitating the chance to ring home. So let's, you know, something horrible's happened, your mobile, your phone's not working, you can't ring people, you know, go and see the guys, go and speak to somebody, and, you know, reach out. That's the main thing. Just if at any point you're feeling low during your studies, reach out to people. You know, it's the healthy way to go about things.
Great. Okay, then thank you so much, Andrew, for your participation. It was, I think, very beneficial for all of us.
Oh, excellent.
So can I ask you to drop your email address on the chat box, or can you not reach it? Can you see it?
One sec. Mine's frozen. Did you see it on the slide?
I'll copy and paste your email address on the chat box.
Perfect. Yeah, and if you've got my WhatsApp as well, put that on there. WhatsApp's a great way for us to be able to speak with guys. Because if I'm out and about, I've always got my phone with me.
Okay, just adding. There we go. So, okay, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm looking forward to hearing from people. Yeah, I say the more questions, the better. Just jump in. I say absolutely anything, and I'll get back to you, and we can always have a conversation. If anybody does want a one-on-one time as well, you know, just spend time, do a separate video conference or webinar or something, and you've got questions, or from your parents as well. Again, the more the merrier. The more we can help you out with, the easier things are for you. I'm here to support you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. Take care. Hope to see you.
Absolute pleasure. Nice to see you again. And thanks everyone for attending. I appreciate your time.
Bye. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.